Hi everyone, welcome back to the lesson. So in the last lesson, you have seen how to assemble the components and the same thing you can see on my screen right now. I hope you have all managed to assemble these component as per the instructions and make sure that you have saved that file. So with the same assembly arbor press, today we are going to learn how to create an exploded view and animation. So using this particular assembly. So as part of this, as I mentioned in the earlier lessons also, Fusion 360 have the same file format where you are going to access the animation in the same file as a different module. So in this assembly, if you go to the left corner, top corner here, you can see the design where you can access to the different modules. So which I have mentioned in the lesson one. And since like last 6 lessons, you have gone through only this design part. And here we are moving to the animation. So inside these modules, once you select animation, software will change the complete user interface where you can access the tools which are relevant to your animation. And on the top, you can see those tools available. At the bottom here, you can see the animation timeline. So this is quite very easy to create animation or the exploded view and not very technical, but yeah, it is very interesting to create because uh, like you just like any other animation software, here also you can rotate the camera, you can zoom the components. Meantime, you can animate those components, you can create an exploded view. So how it is possible? So just very couple of few icons available here. You can see the first one is storyboard. So here the multiple storyboards you can create on one single animation. For example, like we want to create 2 3 different instances of the videos. So in that case, you can create multiple storyboard on one single file. So default, this is storyboard one, what you can notice here at the bottom. So if you want to add a new storyboard, you can add new storyboard, right? So that you can provide the storyboard name. And once you select, that will be storyboard two. So like that, you can create multiple storyboard within one single file. So here you can see the timeline. So where you can drag the timeline and you can set to the adjust to the seconds here, right? So for example, now I'm going to fix this to 5 seconds, and what I'm supposed to do within these 5 seconds, that we have to decide. So there are two options available. Within these 5 seconds, I can rotate or I can zoom the screen. That is one thing will be recorded as animation. Second thing, moving the component. So let us I just want to zoom this screen. I want to move something like this. You can notice whatever I have created that has been recorded as an animation. If I go back to 0, you can notice at the bottom there is an icon available to play. Once I select play, you can notice. So the zoom, whatever I have created on the screen, the same thing has been captured. So meantime, while zooming this, what I want to do is I want to move this faceplate and this screw outside here to showcase the inside components over here. So to create that, so within that 5 second, wherever you have stopped the timeline, so there on the top, you can find there is an option available, transform components. By selecting this transform component, I'm going to select this faceplate and I'm going to select this screw. I selected two components together. Here same, you can find out the icons available to rotate and move the component. So I'm selecting this particular arrow in the horizontal direction. I'm going to move this outside. Once I drag, we can specify the proper dimension also here. So this is going in the opposite direction. So I will change this as 50. Enter. Now you can notice those two component, whatever you have moved, that has been saved here as animation. Now if I try to play this animation, you can notice one is camera view, another one is component. So put together, it is moving here. So again, whatever you are going to create, again, this time frame, you can adjust. That means I want to zoom this just within 3 seconds. I can drag this uh, camera view to 3 seconds. Now, if I try to play this animation, you can notice, so zooming or the camera view become very fast and slowly this component is moving out. And if I want to move this to animation, for example, put together, I just want to move this. I want this to start from 1 second and it should continue till 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Or if I want to reduce the duration, I can shrink this up to 5 seconds. Now, again, I'm going to play this video. First 3 seconds, you can see the camera view. And next 2 seconds, additional to that, you can see the component is moving outside this fixed area. So like this. Now, the next thing, I just want to move this to 8 seconds. So now I'm going to rotate this view. Either you can rotate manually or you can use the view cube. I'm just rotating to the opposite direction. And now I just go to transform, select only screw. That screw, I'm going to move it outside. Distance is only 30. Now, again, I can go back. I can play this animation. Right? So if this is not properly visible, what I can do is this animation, I will reduce it to um, 7 seconds. And this component, I want to move like, I want to make it very slow. I just add additional 2 seconds to the same. Now I can play this animation from here. Okay. So like this, you can explore all the components like from the different view. So whichever is convenient. For example, now I'm going to create exploded view. So I take this particular view and I'm selecting this table plate to transform. I select here. So I'm just moving this outside, right? Then I go to this isometric view. And I'm going to transform this lever and pinion shaft together. So I'm just moving this outside. And last but not least, I want to move this cam. This RAM, sorry. So I'm just moving this RAM just a little bit outside so that we can view this properly. Then next few seconds, I just want the camera view. Okay. So all put together, I want to play this animation. I can just select play. Something went wrong here. I'm trying to move this RAM outside. So that has been captured now. So now I can go back to the basic view. From there, I can start animating all these components. So like this, you can even like if you want to change this camera duration or the animation duration, all that you can change depending on the requirement. So then all put together, this exploded, particular exploded view, you can publish that as a video. So before that, if you want to add some annotation to the same, for example, annotation, so you can pin this particular component and whatever the information you want to provide. So that information you can provide how to assemble, what type of screw you are supposed to use, or what should be the air pressure while using automated machine to tighten the screw. So all that information you can provide here in the annotation. So once after that, so all you have to do is you can simply select here publish. By selecting this publish, so software will ask you the resolution. Okay, so you can provide the resolution. So best in case you can select here. So 1920 by 1080, so 16 by 9. So that is the standard resolution for your presentations. You can select that. And all storyboard or whichever the storyboard you are working, the current storyboard. So storyboard one. So you can select OK to publish. So and here you can see all these files will be saved as MP4 file, video format, and it will be saved on your project as a MP4 file, and also you can save it on your local computer. So for example, I want to save it in my different folder. So I'm just going to save this inside my downloads. Can select OK, then I can just select save. So software will start publishing this particular video. And once after finishing, you can open that as an MP4 file. So you can use it on your presentation or while giving presentations, you can play these videos. So this will help you a lot. Okay. So this is not too technical, but yes, this is very, very useful. And for you, depending on your creativity, you can make a nice animation with the proper camera views and the duration, all that you can set. So it's all about your creativity. Okay. So now software is publishing this particular video. So I will just pause little while to until it complete the publish. So I've already published this particular video. So let me search that video on my drive. So here inside downloads, so I'll just say this file. So here it is, above frame assembly. So this is just a normal MP4 file, right? So this you can use it in your presentation or while sharing to any of your professor. You can just use this video format to explain what you have created. Okay. So this is quite a high resolution video, so which is very, very helpful. So this is one thing. So after completing your assembly, you can use the same to create animation for your presentation purpose. So the next thing, so going back to design. So the next most important thing here is how we are going to create a production drawing or documentation converting this 3D into a 2D. So there are two options available. One is converting a component to a 2D model or converting an assembly into a 2D model. So let me start with a simple component first, then we can go through the same assembly. So I'm just going to open this faceplate. So this faceplate, I want to convert it into a 2D drawing so that I can share the documentation with my shop floor with all the dimension, everything for the manufacturing purpose. So, or we can also like document this in a better way so that we can store all this information, the dimension, everything. So to create 2D drawing inside your design, here you can find option available drawing. So again, inside this, there are two options. One is from design and from animation. So just now we have created animation. That exploded view, we can convert it into a 2D drawing that we will see in the next step. So right now I'm selecting from design. By selecting this from design, so this is the component I'm going to convert it into 2D. So content full assembly. So this is the component, nothing to worry about it. So drawing, create new, or if you want to add it to any other drawing, you can select. So template from scratch, or if you have created any template, you can browse for the template. That means you can create your own templates and with the title block, everything. You can save it as a template and you can search from here. So by default, I just want to select from scratch, standard, ISO or ASME. So depending on the region where you are working. So here normally we use ISO standard, units, millimeter, and the sheet size. So this is a very small component, so I don't have to select A3 size. I can go with A4, right? So A4, landscape or portrait, you can select. So I'm selecting this landscape. Then I can select OK. Within few seconds, software will create a new user interface where you have access to your drawing template with the selected sheet size, where you can insert all the views. Uh, this is quite very useful because even though we have created 3D from a 2D sketch, again, it is very important to convert that 3D into a 2D so we can document it in a better way and we can send all this information to our shop floor for the manufacturing purpose. So just taking a little more time to load. Yeah, so here is your default title block, right? So where you can insert your 3D model as a 2D sketch. And again, so before that, here you can also notice a couple of the information that you have to consider. One is orientation, but default orientation, it is showing front view. So depending on the angle of projection you are working, whether it is first angle or third angle projection, that also you can set here in the preferences. So here, so orientation, if you want to change, you can change the orientation. So by default, it is front. I just want the same style. What type of lines you are going to create, whether you want to see only the visible edge or you want to see the hidden lines, the invisible edges, or you want to make it as a shaded. So normally we use this for only isometric purpose, but here I want to use this visible and hidden edges both. Scale, even for A4 size, this is very small. So once this has taken 1:2, so I will change it to 1:1. So I can go with this. And then, so here you have the edge visibility, depending on the complexity of your drawing. So you can select here the edge visibility. So full length or shorten, or you just want to turn it off. So by default in the engineering standard, we don't prefer to show these fillet lines and all. It will make our drawing too messy. But some cases you want to give that information also, that dimension. In that case, you can turn it on. Okay, so default it is off. And interference edges, if you want to see, you can just check this option here. So threaded edges, so if you want to see the threaded edge, that also you can check here. So normally as per standard, we would prefer to see the threaded edge so that there will be an additional circle wherever you have the threaded holes. And now I'm just going to select this location to insert. So this is my front view of the selected 3D model. Then I can select OK. Right? So this is one view, and I want to have a projected view of the same. That is quite very simple. So here you can notice projected view. By selecting this projected view, I can select this base view. Then depending on the direction where you move the mouse, whether left or right view, top or bottom view. So you can select that. So I want to have a right view. Then the bottom, I'm going to select here. If you want to have isometric view, if you are moving your mouse, so other than horizontal and vertical direction, software will consider to create that as an isometric view. I'm also inserting isometric. Okay. Just click on all the location, then right click. You can just select create. Right. So as we have mentioned, we would prefer to see the hidden lines. So that is invisible lines also. Software is highlighting all the hidden lines, right? So the same 2D drawing. So here you have with the 3D model, here you have with the 2D sketch, right? Same face view, so face plate, and here you can find the 2D sketch. So this is the standard title block. Just after you install Fusion 360, this will be default one. So if you want to edit this information, you can double click, you can change all this information of your title block. Or if you want to create your own title block, then you also have an option available here to create sketch. So where you can create your own title block. You can provide additional information to the same. Okay. And now, after creating this, next thing I want to have a different views, like I want to create a section view or detail view. In such case, you can also create the section view of the same. So what I'm going to do, I want to create section view of this particular view. So I want to create section tracking. I'm not going to click here. I'm just tracking this center and I'm selecting this as the second point. Right click, continue. Okay, then you can move the mouse depending on the direction. Again, as I mentioned, software will create the section view. Again, for this section, again, you have all the options available. Style, whether you want to see the hidden lines and all. Scale, name of the section view. So by default, it starts from A, B, C, like that. So you can, if you want, you can change the name. And the visibility of the tangent edges, all those things you can provide. And the depth. So this is a new thing with Fusion 360. So section depth also you can specify. So full, slice, or distance from where to where you want to see the section. This is quite very, very useful by the time when you are showcasing very complex designs, then you can select the depth. So this is new thing added in Fusion 360 recently. So you can select the depth. So in this case, I don't want to change the depth. I just want to use full. Okay. And I can select OK here. You can notice software has created the section view. Sorry, something went wrong. So let me just create again. Okay, so here is your section view. This again, you can move wherever you want. So I just want to move it here. Okay, and again, so I can go to projected view of this section view. Okay, I can create projected view of the section. You can notice here. So software will create isometric view of the selected section view also. So that's the best point. Sometimes, if, as I mentioned, if the design is very complicated, in such case, you can use this function to create a nice 2D drawing which will explain the complete structure of your design, right? So this is section view, and you can also explore, as I mentioned, whenever you create section view, so you have also have an option available, distance and also slice, depending on that. You can create the section view with the provided distance also. And the last but not least, when it comes to the drawing views, that is detail view. So normally we create the detail view with the additional scale. So I want to create detail view of this particular view. So I want to cover this portion. Okay, I want to highlight this dimension. Once after I create a circle, so here you have an option available whether you want to create with circle or you want to create with a rectangle detail view. You can create that, and then scale by default it is select double the scale. If you want to increase, you can increase the scale. You can make it 4:1, 5:1, whatever. Then you can select the location to insert your detail view and select OK. Okay, so this is your section view. So it also mentions the scale. So this is all as per the engineering standard. So then here you can go with your dimensions. Okay, or you want to place your section view at the bottom here, you can move the section view here at the bottom. So you can move this isometric section or these views, so wherever you want, but at the same time you won't be able to move the projected view. So it should be either horizontal or vertical depending on the view selection, so that you cannot move up and down. Only the detail view and isometric views you can move on the any other location. Okay, so this about creating the views. Then the remaining, so quite very simple here. We have some functions available which will help us to ensure the engineering standards were creating the center mark and center lines, all that. For example, I want to create center mark for all these circles. I can just select the circle. You can notice software is creating the center mark, right? For these two also. To create center line, you can select any two lines. So software will automatically create the center line between that two. So these two are the holes. So I'm just selecting this to create the center line. And same here, okay? Even in the section view, so wherever you want, you can just select two lines. Software will create the center mark. Again here, so even when it comes to detail view, so I can create the center lines here. So after creating this standard center lines and all, so here you also have center mark everything and extension line for your dimensioning purpose. So those things also you can create. For example, I want to create extension line of these two so that I can select this edge for the dimensioning purpose. So you can create that also. Otherwise, you can directly create dimension that will be created from this endpoint. So as for the engineering standards, sometimes we prefer to have this extension line for the dimensioning purpose, right? So then the next thing, creating dimension here. So you have all the different type of options available here to create the dimension. So linear, aligned, angular, radius, diameter. Then also you have baseline dimension and chain dimension. I hope you have seen that in the previous revolve exercise, we were having a dimension of the shaft, which was baseline dimension. Starting from one point, there you are having all the remaining dimensions. So like that, baseline chain dimensions also available. Like for example, I want to create chain dimension starting from this point. So first I have to create the linear dimension. So from this point to this center, this drawing is too small, so I don't think we will be able to align this chain dimension properly. But still, let me try this to here, to this center, and to this endpoint. So this will be very messy because the drawing is very small, so I'm not going to create. So just to give an idea how it works, and then you also have an option to create the radius, the diameter. So this is radius, and I can select diameter for this one. Okay. So all this arrow, everything as per the engineering standard. So you don't have to worry about that. Even if you want to give the dimension for your fillet also, you can select radius. You can select this fillet and you can specify the radius here. Okay. You just have to align it properly so that you can save this file. So just to ensure I'm going to complete this lesson within a given time. So I'm just going very fast. So please try to align all the dimensions within the proper place. Okay. And after that, so next you have text available, you have leader note. So if you want to specify any information, so you can create a leader note. So everything should be caps. Fillet radius 1. Okay. So anything you want to provide the leader note, you can specify that. You also have symbols available here: surface texture, future control frame, and also datum identifier. So these are some of the symbols available. Depending on the requirement, you can use that. And here you have option to insert the images. So this is normally applicable when we are creating the title blocks. So if you want to have the institution logo or something, you can insert the image. You can bring those images to your title block. Okay. And next one is table and this balloon. So where this is applicable. So let me go back to the assembly which we have created here. Okay. In this assembly, so what I'm going to do, I will copy this screw on all these 4 locations. Okay. Okay, let me just reinsert from the website. In the last lesson, we have used this screw to insert to Fusion 360. Let me just insert one more screw.
With that, I'm going to start recording, and just for the sake of time, we are going to jump straight in. So the easiest way to set up your Zoom meeting in regards to what you are going to be establishing.
Sorry, there was some technical glitch. I was just going through some other video. Sorry, you can just ignore that. Okay, so coming back to Fusion. Sorry for that inconvenience. Here I'm going to insert this manufacturer part. socket headed screw. I'm just going to select this and then something down here. So okay, so it's just taking a little more time. Okay, so let me just select this just to showcase how we are going to use this. So I think the sizes are not available here. So as per the standard, let me see. Division, so standard size. So let me just take it to Fusion 360. Okay, so the same thing I'm going to join. So I'm going to join this bottom center of this screw. Okay, so this face plate. I'm going to flip this. This is supposed to be a rigid joint. Okay, and then I'm going to insert the same thing again for the second instance here. So join. And this center. So I need to flip this. So I'm going to edit the joint. Okay. So two screws, one tie, two socket-headed screw, and one is different here. So all put together, I'm just going to save this file. And after saving, so this whole thing, I want to bring it to my 2D drawing again, as I mentioned. So I can select drawing. So from design, okay, so paper size, I will select A2 and remaining all same, ISO standard, all that. So paper size, I have selected A2 and I can select OK. So make sure, so you have created assembly and also you are creating this particular drawing view. This is your support to submit. Okay. So here, I don't want to have any parallel view. I just want to use this projected view, isometric view, so that I can highlight all the components. Um, okay. So this is the one I want. So the scale, I give it as 1:2. So it's too small for A2 size. I will make it as 1:1. So it's perfect. So I'm going to insert this particular assembly as isometric view on my 2D drawing template. Okay. So this is my assembly. So here, if you double click again, it will go back to the view settings. But as you can notice here, previously when I'm working on the component, software has given me the option, and by default it has created visible hidden edges. As I'm working on assembly, software is intelligent enough. Normally in assembly we don't use the hidden lines so that it becomes too difficult for us to manage all the lines. So it is hiding all the hidden lines. If you want to activate, you can just activate the hidden lines, so you can see it will be very messy. So by default it is all the hidden lines are invisible. And here, normally in the assembly, we don't create dimensions. Of course, if you need any special this one requirement, then you can obviously create all these center mark dimensions, everything. But here, more important thing is creating the table, which is nothing but part list. We call it as part list or bill of material. So by selecting this table, so for this particular view, you can notice software will create the table with all the components which you have inserted in this particular assembly. So you can notice the part number, the description about that part, and the material. So in the previous lesson, we have seen we can apply the material and we can get the information of those uh, volume, area, mass, everything. So the same thing, whatever the material you have applied, the same thing will be highlighted here. So this is the component, and software will also give you the item number and quantity. So some of the quantities of this particular screw, it is not listed here. Okay, so it has inserted as two different. So we had to copy that. So it is showing 1 and 1, right? And all that component or part what you have listed here. So software will automatically create the balloon and it is highlighting all the components. And again, if you notice, these balloons are aligned properly in a vertical direction, that is as per our ISO standards. So if you want to manually create, you can create balloons manually. Okay. Or if you create part list, software will automatically create the information. So here you can see, once you double click on your part list, software will also highlight the information which are supposed to be shown here: item number, quantity, part list, part number, part name is already given. So this, and mass, if you want to add that information, you can add. For example, I want to add the mass to my part list, I can add that. And you can like change the location where you want to place that. So mass, you want to bring it to the third column. So that depending on your requirement, you can change the location. And table direction, up or down. By normally in the standard, like in our engineering standard, we use upwards. So that is what software is showing here. If you don't want to see the description, you can remove the description table from here. Then here you have your 2D drawing of the same assembly. Okay, so make sure that you are going to assemble all the component. You have a proper assembly, and that assembly you are going to bring it to your 2D drawing, and you are going to create the balloons and this part list. This exact thing you are supposed to submit as part of your assessment. Okay, so I hope this lesson will help you to understand more about animation and 2D drawing. So in the next exercise, we are going to learn more of 3D modeling again, which is going to be very, very interesting. So that we will explore in the next lesson. Okay, so thank you, everyone.